had some technical issues, so we were offline for a while, sadly. But now that everything should be fixed.
Yeah.
So, and we just wanted to come back to the women's section for a bit to check Miley's game against Anna, because we said at some point that we would return to this, and we haven't yet. And this seemed very interesting with like early G5.
I think we stopped right
After H5, I think,
yeah.
I believe,
we
yes.
didn't see knight e5.
Knight E5, but we were also saying this, that, yeah, it should be one of the main ideas in general to close this file, probably. But here, now, actually, like, bishop takes E5 as possible, and the other, I also, it makes a lot of sense, because H4 was a threat, so, of course, you have to take like this. And now, at least for the moment, there is no problem, like, with F6, because C7 is hanging, so this is something that black has to take care of first. Also, bishop f5 is a very cool move, like that she didn't waste time on something like c6, let's say. But she doesn't care about this pawn, and she played bishop f5 immediately.
Maybe we should analyze why queen
Let's
takes
say
c7
queen
doesn't
takes
work.
c7. I think maybe you can just take, play rook c8, and claim that white's king is still in the center, and you just have a lot of compensation, because I don't know, where is this bishop even going? Let's say I play bishop a5 and then rook c2. Yeah, these b2 and f2 are both hanging, so I would not be comfortable here playing this endgame, I think. What about you?
I agree with that. Just rook on c2 is just too strong.
It's super annoying. So I think, yeah, taking here on c7 is not possible. And yeah, taking with the bishop, I think, is even worse, because I can just play queen d7, and I'm threatening rook c8. And I don't know, it's like similar problems, but with the queens on the board, I would be even more scared with white. So this is definitely not an option. So bishop f5 was a very nice move by Anna. And bishop d3, also, again, very logical to just not be in the spin. C5.
And
makes
f3.
a lot of sense. F3.
Now it's time to calculate.
Rook c8. Rook c8 is a very, very cool move.
We were actually looking at this while you were commentating with Isik, because we were outside, so like also the other coaches were there.
Yep.
So we were mentioning also the move queen b1 and queen d1 after rook c8.
But I think already to come up with rook c8 is very cool.
Okay, of course, we have to see why taking on e4 doesn't work. I guess rook c8, f takes e4, and c takes d4.
And also, of course, I don't think there's really any other options for black, because, I mean, well, otherwise the piece is just gone. So, I mean, I think the only other move was like c4 here, but yeah, it also looks a bit complicated. Like, I mean, I have to take, I guess. And I don't know.
The problem is just after bishop takes e4, then what's black's idea?
I mean, after d takes e4, this just seems very good for white.
Yeah, just
because
castle.
now, I mean, this pawn is pinned, and I mean, we'll just take on e4, and now all those pawns on g5 and h5 are actually super weak. So yeah, this cannot have been the idea. So, but there's at least this check on a5. So if white plays queen c3, at least I can manage to trade queens, and then I don't have like such big problems. And otherwise, at least, okay, the king will be in a worse spot. So I think queen a5 is like an important, like intermediate move here. But Anna didn't even want to go for this, but she played rook c8, which is,
I think rook c8 is
very nice.
The best move, for sure.
So the idea is that after f takes e4, you start with c takes d4, and now also this bishop on e5 is hanging. So let's say, okay, we can play queen d1.
Yeah, but then just...
Then I have bishop g4 as an intermediate move, because, I mean, of course, this bishop is also hanging. Then I will take on e5 in the next move.
So queen a5 check at some point, but yeah.
It's very dangerous, but yeah, very cool. So here f takes e4 does not seem like the move, but rather you should just move your queen somewhere, which I think Miley will do.
Yeah, that's why we were considering both queen b1 and queen d1.
Okay.
Probably it's
just
not
queen b1 to hold the threat of like taking on e4.
Yeah, because after okay, c4, let's say f takes
I mean,
e4, and then queen a5 check,
yes,
king f1, c takes d3, e takes f5. But the point is just here, I believe from a human perspective, even though, okay, you still have the bishop on e5, but it's very hard to play for white.
Yeah, I don't know which side I would prefer this, to be honest. I don't know, like, let's say, okay, queen D2, I think, is one of the only ideas, at least to have some threats here, to have like
Yeah.
queen E2 and threaten D2. But after queen D1, okay, I mean,
Of course, you cannot trade queen, so yeah, just taking on E3 and then queen F3, you can again try to trade. Not sure about rook C1. It is actually a very complicated line because let's say rook C1, then I'm losing the rook on H1.
yeah, let's check rook C1
But
first.
maybe you will get
See
mated.
like-
So it is like king F2, queen takes
H5.
H5.
That's
So
crazy.
in the end,
And
you
you
have to
actually
take
have
on.
to sack.
Yeah.
And how is this? I mean, okay, I don't have to. I should take here first. And I
Yeah,
should
queen
just,
takes G5, intermediate move, and just then you can take on E5.
That's very interesting.
The endgame with the pawn on D3 can be a little bit scary, but white has also some mating ideas.
Yeah, I
with the
mean,
two
also
pawns.
white's pawns are a bit fast.
Yeah.
And I think you should always have some kind of perpetual. But yeah, this would be a very interesting line. But I think the same idea maybe existed with rook takes e5 here immediately. But I think it should just be the same, right? And then play rook c1.
Mhm.
I don't know if it makes any difference. But yeah, this would be a very interesting way to sacrifice a piece. Also, I think it's super hard to calculate.
Yeah,
So-
that's why she's thinking that much. But in the end, probably instead of queen B1, maybe queen D1. Because in the same line that we were analyzing before, like now...
You mean now c4, but then now I can just take,
You can
and now
just
I
take.
have a better version. I'm actually just a piece up for
Yeah.
nothing, basically.
There is no also queen D2. In the other line we were analyzing queen D2. Here there is just nothing.
Almost 100% sure that she will go for queen d1. Because I think it's super hard to calculate all of this. Okay, she has 26 minutes left, which seems like, oh, it's some time, but actually it can pass by very quickly.
I agree.
And to be left, if you're not sure of like about the lines, in a team competition, to go for queen b1, I think is super difficult.
But also in general, queen d1 is just easier to calculate.
Yeah.
Also, if you think about the idea of queen a5 check, without thinking, if I put the queen on d1, I'm defending d2.
Yeah.
Even though there is probably nothing anyway, because knight on e4 doesn't have a long life, but still, probably like queen d1.
Speaking of Half-Life.
Yeah. Knight d6 maybe, if you don't want to lose the piece. And here you can just castle and...
I think, to be honest, like probably just really white wants to castle. Like I would be so happy if I managed to castle with white, because then at least you would think, okay, g5 and h5 are more like weaknesses, and this bishop on e5 is actually quite decent. So I think this is what...
someone wants to know who is that German. In the line you showed, why not toss in b4 before ef5, so there is no queen d2. So I guess we are talking about the line with queen b1.
Yes.
So we can go back.
Queen b1, c4,
Yeah, so we said-
queen a5, king
Mhm.
f1, c takes d3. Instead of e takes f5 before, or...
Yeah, c takes d3 and b4. Mhm.
I think the problem is here that black either has like queen a6 or queen b5, and d2 will fall off check. So let's say I want to take back this piece here. There's a very cool move, not only d2, but there's rook c1 check, which is
And then
super
d2,
strong.
yes.
And then, white will sadly lose the queen here. Actually, it's a really cool way how to lose
I
the
think
queen.
there are multiple ways, because also, okay, queen a6 or just queen
And
b5.
I think also,
but-
especially because we see there are so many motives in this position, and to calculate all of this with 20 minutes on the clock, I think it's nearly impossible. I mean, it would be super impressive if she finds all of this, but I don't know.
But in general, just after queen
seems
d1,
hard.
I don't think there is much to calculate.
But this was a very good question. Like, why not play b4?
I agree.
rook
So we
c1
were
is very
saying
nice.
like queen d1 instead, and then knight d6 and castle. But I think white's position is actually more enjoyable in that line.
Yeah, I was also thinking that. I think it's like easier to play because, I mean, I don't know, I just want to castle and then I'll be happy here. But okay, maybe we can check how their teammates are doing
Yes.
or how the match is going. 4-2.
Everyone is still playing.
Okay. I don't know, how did this happen?
Actually, I think
we were checking
stopped.
this game.
Yeah, we didn't see bishop takes a6.
Yes,
We
but I
stopped
mean,
before
it's very
that.
normal like that those bishops get traded,
Yeah.
as we were saying. Okay, black will put pressure on the b2 pawn, which is very normal. And queen e8 is interesting to actually like bring the queen to the king's side instead of putting pressure.
I'm not sure if it's the right plan, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, I feel like the queen, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I would try to. Although, I mean, I understand that white is a pawn up, but usually those kind of endgames are not necessarily bad for black. So, for my personal style, I think I would really like this plan of like queen c8 and queen a6 to just trade the queens. And then, I don't know, like those squares are so weak, so to start with knight b4. And I don't know, like, how is white going to take advantage of this extra pawn? Because the bishop on c1 is stuck, like, with defending b2. Again, b3 creates other problems and weaknesses, maybe along this a1, h8 diagonal.
Yeah, it's still hard to think about that because even if it's fine, but then you're pawn down.
Yeah.
So I don't think.
No, I'm pawn down so often, so for me, I think I'm used to it.
So what she did, it's actually more human, probably, just reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, like, bringing the queen to maybe h5 and then putting pressure onto this knight on f3, it also makes a lot of sense, of course.
But then after, bishop b2, bishop d6, rook ac1, now it's a very interesting moment because I think white didn't go for the best idea. And now there is pressure actually on h2. So what if I just play, okay, g5, maybe you would play g5.
I think, yeah, g5 is, yeah, it's very possible I would do that. Especially, yeah, considering then, okay, you're almost forced to play h3 and then to just
G4.
continue with g4. I mean, yeah, maybe I would go for some knight e1 to just, like, now, to be honest, I would be happy to trade queens with white because I would be more scared to get mated.
I mean, I think it's actually going to be like that.
But there was also another interesting idea, I think, in the position of the rook ac1. Like
d4?
Yeah, to play some d4, just with the idea, if you take, to play knight takes d4, and now we have this typical motive again, this knight on f3 is overloaded, and there's a threat of, like, mate on h2.
But now it looks almost winning for black.
It does. I think d4 is, like, I mean, it's even stronger than g5, because it's just very concrete. And if you cannot take on d4, I mean, actually, what are you going to do? Like,
Yeah.
where is this knight even going? Let's say there's some knight a4 even. I mean, no, also there's this very nice trick. Oh, it's not really a trick. Thank you. Yes. So we don't have a coffee break. We have our coffees ready with us.
Someone said it reminds me of the Banco Gambit because it is.
Yes.
And then they said with a better center situation. Yeah, I mean, now it's actually the ideal situation for black. After d4, there's not so much to say. Maybe queen c4.
Yeah. I mean, so knight a4, which seems logical, is just not possible due to bishop takes h2. Now this knight is pinned, and, well, you cannot really afford to lose this pawn. So this is not possible. And then queen c4 is like, yeah, I think like some kind of last resort to try to hold this position together. But, yeah.
But even taking on c3, like queen c4, okay, first of all, we have to calculate other moves, but the
But I
easiest,
think at
if
least
I just
take on c3, and then king h8. I will take on d6. Now f8 is hanging. So I think at least here, maybe like.
But you can play instead
try
of king
something.
h8. Where do they
play queen f7? Yeah.
Just queen f7,
rook
and
f7.
then let's say if queen takes, I'm just taking on b2.
I don't know. I mean, I think then it's just. I mean, you will have some compensation, but now, I mean, you actually have 3 pawns.
Yeah.
So I think at least this is reasonable, but I just, for me, whenever I'm like a piece down, as you know from our training games, like I always just think I will recover those pawns and I'll be a piece up.
We can say the story. It's not a story. It's just we had a training and then we had to play a position and I had 3 pawns and she had the knight, and we were very.
Our opinions were very divided.
Yeah,
on
because
the
I said,
topic.
I mean, of course I'm gonna promote. Like it's clear, I'm
She
just
did
gonna
not
win.
promote.
And then she was like, of course I'm gonna win. The knight is just better. Just there's
Because
no way you're.
not only because it's a knight, but just because it's a piece. I like pieces.
Yeah, it's just hard, of course, in every material.
But I think especially with like lower time control, I mean, it's like if you blunder one pawn, it's like really okay, you know. Then it's very hard.
Of course, it also depends on the position, but yeah, I said d takes c3 just because it's the first move that comes to my mind, because it's a capture, so it's a forcing line, but also...
Yeah, d4 is just, it seems super strong. Like, also I think it's very in the spirit of the position to do this. I mean, especially considering that there's, these ideas of mate, I think d4 is definitely like
She will play it.
She should play d4.
Yeah, she will just play it.
So this match is actually, I don't know. It's still pretty balanced. Maybe, no, it was not this game, but maybe we can go back to the last board.
Yeah.
Of
Diana Patel?
Yes, it is UTRGV versus UTD, right?
No, I think it's Lu. It's Lu. Yeah,
It's
Diana
Lu.
Patel is Las Provs Lu.
That's true. Yeah, I was like caught up on something else because but here like a lot of things happened.
For
Because
sure.
we were saying the last time that there was e5 and white was doing very well. Like I remember this move knight d7, e5 was played, and now like I don't know, it seemed super bad just for like she played e6, which I thought was going to happen. Just seems very human.
H4 is a very good
H4,
move.
very nice. Long castle. Okay.
She was playing such a good game.
Yeah.
And then she played knight b5, which is she just wanted to protect e3.
I thought you wanted to go to d6, but actually I'd protect.
Yeah.
So what happens if you sack this pawn? Can I take this pawn? Bishop takes e3. Okay, I'll just take. And now actually the bigger problem is that this knight is pinned, and actually you're about to lose the piece maybe.
Yeah.
Or well, you'll have issues either way. But yeah, that could have been a good way, like to give this pawn. But knight b5, I mean, it's protecting the pawn, but I don't know. It does not seem like the square for the knight. Okay, so what happens? He takes d4 actually, yes. And now you have this problem with those pawns all of a sudden, like on e5 and e3, are now like super bad, which were like quite strong before. So it's a bit of the drawback of long castle, I think. I mean, if you commit to long castle, then maybe you should, like this line is important too.
Also, now I think after knight takes e5, rook c8 is coming, but she took on b7, but it's opening the position even more, so I'm not sure the pawn is worth
no, it's never
trouble
worth it.
of having the b5 semi-open. Yeah.
Yeah, bishop takes b7, queen c7 is even stronger than to start with rook b8. Of course, rook b8, I think also she would win probably very easily, but queen c7 is like a nice intermediate move, rook b8, and okay, well then she's just losing all of her pieces. Which is a bit sad because I thought, okay, like after e5 she had a very decent position.
She was just dominating, I think, after e5.
Yeah, it was looking good. Okay, but also again, that just shows how quickly a position can change.
Maybe we can go back to the open section.
Yes.
There are no more results, but I think the game between Santiago and Quesada is very interesting because it's still the pawn on e5. And also here, many things happened that we didn't see.
I mean, at least now, I don't know which position I would prefer because, like, at least black is ready for some push of c5, but I don't know, at the same time, like, maybe there can be some attack on the king side. Like, what if I'm in time for some knight g5 and queen h5? It looks a bit scary, or not?
Yeah, let's say you just played
what
now.
What if I just play knight g5? I mean, to be honest, I think if you're not going to play c5, I don't know what you're going to do.
The bishop on a7 is just sad.
I mean, h6 doesn't really bother me because I will just trade on e6, and then I will play bishop f5. I'll be super happy with the position and my bishop pair. So this cannot be it. But yeah, I think c5 is the only way to try for something, and then
queen h5.
Okay, queen h5. You have to play h6. Knight takes, rook takes e6, bishop f5.
You can still go, for bishop f5.
But now, at least because of c5, I still have squares here on this file. Let's say I go for rook c6. So now I'm at least protecting g6. So I think c5 also at least has this advantage.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
so you can go for the same line. Because otherwise, I don't think you cannot really do anything against knight g5 and queen h5, but you should just try to prepare for it.
I still think it looks very good for white.
I mean, I also like the position, but again, also here, I think if like white is not going to mate or doesn't have anything concrete, maybe I would try with e6, knight f8. I don't know. I also think this position can change quite quickly because if I get some counterplay of taking on d4, I don't know. Like it's a position where I feel like white has to find kind of like almost only moves.
But then, if you want to, you can take on d4 instead of knight f8, no? Why not?
I can take, but let's say either like bishop f2 or bishop d2 maybe. I just want to...
I don't think I would play bishop d2. I mean, I understand that it's a good move, but still...
Bishop d2 is a bit crazy. Let's say
Bishop f2 is more.
Bishop f2 seems very human. And I don't know, now this pawn is starting to look maybe a bit scary for black on it. I know, I mean, at least there's no like promotion happening, but I don't know. I would be a bit scared maybe.
Yeah, we are probably giving too much counterplay at some point. So maybe instead of queen h5, there is something better than that.
I think the only thing that was bothering me a bit about bishop f2 versus bishop d2 is that at some point I thought maybe black can play d3 and I didn't really want to trade this bishop. But also at the same point I don't want there to be some discover check. Like it's, it's a bit risky. So yeah.
But maybe,
that's very interesting.
Okay, c5. I said queen h5, but you can just play rook c1 probably.
So here, c5, queen h5.
No, I mean instead of queen h5, because I said that just because it's the first move that I would play, but still you're not forced to play queen h5.
I mean, yeah, rook c1 also seems pretty solid because you don't really want to open up this file and take on d4 actually, because then there's a lot of threats against black king.
Maybe h6, because otherwise what are you doing with black?
Yeah, we can kind of go for the same line.
Yeah. Knight takes.
Maybe I want to play bishop f5 again, rook c6. I don't know, like this idea of e6 always seems quite logical. Like, because if I have the bishop pair, I want to take advantage of the bishop pair and open up.
But this is just a much improved version for white compared to the previous one.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, it doesn't look like much like before if you like go from this position, but knight g5 and queen h5 are actually quite big threats.
Okay, he's still thinking, so maybe we can go to the next game.
Maybe we can check Francesco for a bit, because now the queens are off the board, and to be honest, I'm very happy with black's position. I mean, okay, to have this protected passed pawn on a c4 is quite decent.
Yeah, now
Francesco is white. Okay, well, then I'm still happy with black's position, but yeah, just unfortunate for Francesco that he's white.
He cannot mate anymore.
He cannot mate, no.
Yeah, my prediction didn't go as planned.
Yeah, I don't know, like this pawn, it's super annoying because I don't know, how can you lose with like black in this position? I mean, I think the only idea is to at some point have this pawn lever with e4, but then also like, I mean, if the knight stays on d6, like d4 is always attacked, so I don't know if it will ever happen.
Possible.
Maybe at some point there's some chance of like g5 with like some counterplay.
He just played knight b4.
I mean, knight b4 is a logical move.
Okay,
I mean, I
want to play knight
want
d3.
to go to d3, of course.
Let's say bishop f1, so you just prevent that.
Bishop f1.
And then what? Because that's the question. Knight 4.
I don't know. Like some idea of knight d4 with the idea that I have this d5 square.
But compared to the position before knight b4, here white is surviving.
I don't know, but at least, okay, like b3 is hanging. So then you have to make some kind of commitment. Okay,
I will take on c4.
With like trading on b5 or without?
That's a good question. I don't know. I thought, okay, probably without. B takes, just B takes. And it's still good for black. I agree that you just have a pass pawn.
Black is still pushing. It's not the worst position in the world, but it's just something also I think that can go like wrong very easily, you know?
Yeah.
Like let's say, okay, I put some knight on d3 and then, I don't know, like I can play c3 maybe, knight d3. Like this pawn can get a bit scary.
Okay, maybe I will take on b5 first, as you said, so at least I'm getting rid of some more pawns. And then how is that? Maybe you also have bishop takes and rook a4. So if this works, then you're fine. Bishop takes c4, bishop takes, and rook a4.
Okay, yeah, if I can manage to trade those pieces, okay, yeah.
Okay, this is white's dream.
This is white's dream.
Never
White just wants to simplify the position. But that's like at least a very important trick in the position that I'm sure Francesco will see. So, yeah, I think maybe this can be like black's hope to escape, which looks like a lot better than what we had before.
For sure it is easier to play with black.
Yes. Okay, what about the Mizzou match? Okay, we already saw Isik, who made a draw. Let's go maybe to Aryan versus Aryan. Okay, so the queens are off the board, which, I don't know, I actually think white should be happy about.
For sure. I mean, our Aryan is not mating anymore, so...
Okay, so we saw this position, then yeah, Isik was saying that, okay, also like h5 is not possible because of takes and bishop g4. Yeah, in the game, he played bishop f7. He did not play h5. Okay. We didn't
But
see
yeah,
that
I
yet.
really, I'm not sure I would have traded queens.
We can check. So h5, knight e2, bishop g6.
Okay, what if you just go somewhere? Like queen b5, and you don't trade?
I
And then
think,
at
but
least you
queen
have.
b5 is maybe not so easy to make because you think, okay, this just like runs into like a4. But then queen b6 is a bit annoying, actually, I think, because I don't know, after king h1, like I don't like that for white that this f2 square is very weak.
But at least then I have some attack. H4,
Yeah, also,
and
yeah.
I don't
I
think
can
you're
try
quick
with
enough
h4,
with a5.
knight a5. Well, maybe I can also play a5 myself. Can be a bit risky. I don't know. Anyways, he decided to trade queens. At least, yeah, this knight on e5 looks very good.
It's a risk-free position for black,
It's-
so at the same
It's
time,
very risk-free. Maybe also he was checking on the other boards, and it's looking good there. So
no one is pushing.
no one is pushing.
I mean, Isik already made a draw,
Yes.
and I don't think
Okay.
the others are pushing at all. Mahel.
Okay,
Okay,
so
now
we
you're-
saw Luka's position last
Yeah.
time after, I think, queen b7, or we saw some moves. No, after rook d8. Okay, so he played bishop c6. Bishop c6 is... I did not expect this. Okay, knight d4. Okay, so they were just repeating, but then Gazik declined the repetition. So he is pushing with bishop h4. He does
It
not
makes
want to make a
sense.
draw. H3. Okay, so Luka was fine for draw here, but also, I mean, like nothing bad is happening for black yet.
But still, nothing good is happening. Like,
Nothing good might be happening either,
Nothing
that's
bad,
true.
but what's your next move? What's the plan?
I don't know.
Because
also-
I have
but
the
now
feeling every
I
move.
prefer white's position actually again, because at least you can go like queen f3 and then maybe you can go knight f5. Because at least before playing c6, this was like not really possible. I don't know. It was a bit harder to achieve this, but because also now c6 is a bit of a weakness.
But that's the point. Like Ishik was mentioning the plan with c65, which is also not that easy to achieve. But also a6 is a weakness, c6 is a weakness. At the same time, if you trade pieces, I don't know, like knight h7, then d6 is gonna be a weakness.
Yeah.
So it's very hard for black to
Yeah, I
make
agree.
a decision.
No,
That's
I'm
why
fine.
I'm.
Okay.
And Mahel, I don't know if he's gonna win this endgame because it, of course, the rook on a4 is
so
very.
first, let's see what happened in the endgame, because we were discussing this with Ishik, the queen f3 move, and now I think he was saying bishop e3, because I don't know if you saw that, but then there was like some funny line.
Yeah, I was here. I was seeing the line. I was just
Oh,
there.
yeah, you're standing there, because yeah, this plan of like going to e4 with the king,
Yeah.
it was yeah, very funny, I think. Knight e3, rook d1, yeah, this idea we were talking about. Okay, so that's not what happened in the game. He played king e2, which is of course a bit more solid and doesn't take this pawn, but now then, yeah, this rook endgame was forced. And
But it seems like at least he got the best he could have from the rook endgame, especially. I mean, now the rook on a4 is very active. So after.
yeah, the rook is very active. That's, I think, the most important thing in rook endgames is for the rook to be active. Sometimes even more important than a pawn.
The question is if this is going to be enough to win, because in rook endgames it's never that easy.
Yeah. Also, he's thinking of whether he should take on c4 or on f4, which I think is a very
I
interesting
think he
question.
just. Yeah. No, he didn't.
He
take
just
yet.
played g takes f4. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good choice.
Of course, I mean,
It keeps
otherwise
the rook
you're trading.
passive on c8.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think I would prefer to play rook b6 here with black rather than defend this pawn, because at least, okay, doing something. But also the king can actually be quite fast here to come to d4. What do
For
you think
sure, you
about
don't
that?
want to take on c4. That's.
Yeah, you don't want to trade c4 versus a6, because, I mean, okay, then the game is probably going to end in a draw, but white's king is a bit faster here. Also,
Maybe, yeah, another idea. Okay, of course you want to bring the queen, like the king. Let's say king e2, king f3, king g4, and then if I just put the king there, what are you going to do?
Do you want to put the white king to g4?
Yeah.
But in the position we were just discussing, or with rook b6? Because
I
I
mean,
wanted to
it-
put the king to d4.
That's also, it depends on what black is doing after rook. Let's say you can just play king e2, so you can go for both. And then maybe there is rook b2, so we cannot play that. So we should also consider it, which means maybe we have to first push the pawn, so we don't lose it. Like let's say h4, so at least then I can play king e2.
Maybe, yeah, I want to prefer h3, just so if like black ever goes on a king walk, so he needs one move to take this pawn. I don't know if it makes a difference.
But then king h7, I just play h5 and...
I don't know, probably it makes no difference, h3
I think
or h4.
if we white, I manage to push h5, then I'm winning. No?
But after h4, I'll play h5.
Yeah, but then you cannot go there with the king. Just, okay,
no,
king
I
e2.
want to go to g4.
Okay, king e2.
Okay, I know, king g7.
Okay, king e3. And king e4.
Okay.
And then we are on time, and we should
Stalemate.
I think the point is anyway h4 or h3, you can go on f5. So anyway, I will never play king d4.
I think in
because
this
of king
position,
f5.
okay, I just have to repeat like rook c6, rook b6, and nothing is going to happen.
To be honest, I don't think he can win. Like, it's not the kind of advantage that you manage to convert that easily unless black does something very bad.
I think, yeah, if you want to try here, then you should like go to d4. And then, okay, we can check your line maybe of, okay, rook b6, king e2.
But you
or
cannot
whatever, rook
play
e2,
king e2, yeah.
King e3 takes king d4. Let's say f2. Okay, this is.
But then the h pawn
insanely
is also
risky.
going.
But yeah, but both pawns are going.
Yeah, you wanted to play like rook f2, but also h5. Oh, but maybe it's the same.
Yeah, let's say I think it's the same maybe, but okay, let's say.
But
h4.
why king c5?
I want to go to this a7 pawn.
Yeah.
Take it.
But
and then
still seems very long.
I don't know. At least I'm on time to stop this pawn. And okay, you'll just take this pawn.
Also, it's not really a forced line. So we are saying this, but it's,
Yeah,
it's
no,
not
it's
that-
just one of the possibilities. But this is like, I thought if you wanted to try with white, maybe
Yeah.
this can be like the only attempt. Okay, so he did not play rook b6, but he decided on like a rook b1 check, which I don't know. I don't know if it makes a difference at all.
But then we can go for king c2. Maybe he thought that with the king on c2, then it's
But does it make
harder
a
to
difference? Because let's say I just go rook b6 anyways.
Maybe he wants to go for rook h1, not
But
rook
yeah,
b6.
at least now, I don't know.
Why not rook h1? Because it's the same
Rook
idea as
h1
before.
you want to go for.
But compared to the line that you were analyzing before, now at least the
At
king
least
on
I'm
c2
faster
is...
because now I can go via b3.
Are you faster? I'm not sure you're faster. Rook takes h2.
Okay, because now I have rook c7. I don't know if it makes a huge difference if we both start walking, but
Okay, rook... yeah.
I mean, it's at least I have also, I don't know, I can try. I mean, you can always try.
That, okay, of course, the only one who is trying is white, and
I
this is
agree.
clear, but...
I mean, there's
If-
not much to
yeah.
do, but okay. So
So that's why...
I think the most things can happen in Luka's game actually.
Yeah.
Like Aryan's like, okay. Actually,
Uh,
Aryan played f5 now, so at least also like, okay, he's opening up the position a bit, but I think also like, okay, Aryan has maybe like slight edge here in this position, but like I think Luka is the game where, I don't know.
I have the feeling that after trading queens in Aryan's position, he doesn't really have that much because white is just too solid. Like, what can happen to white's position?
I mean, white is solid, but at least there's still some weaknesses.
Like what?
Like the c2 pawn, I'm claiming.
But it's not a weakness if I
don't
would
know.
just push it.
Yeah, but then at least then the d3 square is weak. Like, I know it seems like nothing, but
But let's say we trade everything. Like,
how
okay,
do you trade everything?
rook takes d8,
Rook takes d8, okay.
takes.
Rook takes d8, yes. I think the only way to trade everything is maybe, okay, to play f4.
Yeah, but then he has it, so.
Yeah, f4 is super annoying, actually. Like, I think without f4, like, if, for example, white were to trade on f5, like, if you just, like, pass it, for example, if some move like rook c1, then I think, okay, I can see that
Yeah,
like,
a
black will
little
start
bit.
pushing.
So
I think it's a bit uncomfortable to play this. But I think, yeah, I don't know. f4 seems like a good way to simplify the position, and I think white should go for that, to be honest. Otherwise, it just... You don't want to, like, hold this endgame.
I mean,
like,
he's
for
a very
hours.
strong player, so he will probably find that, which is not.
I don't think it's sometimes like about finding the moves, but it's more also like the decision, you know? Like, because of course he'll see f4 and he'll think, okay, yeah, this is a good way to simplify, but maybe also he thinks, oh, I have to push or I want to push right now.
But he doesn't have to because they are just leading in the match, I think.
How?
I mean, his position is fine. Isik already made a draw, and Gazik is better, and
Okay, but
Mahel.
it's not for me. It's at least like it's not like Gazik has some clear advantage. Okay, it's slightly more comfortable, but yeah, I also think he will probably simplify, but I don't know.
Also, in
Anything
general,
happen.
in the first board, strategy-wise, you don't really want to push unless you have the best position ever. But
Yeah.
if he was
Or unless
lightly,
unless
if he was already worse, then you're just fine with a draw, I guess.
Okay. Let's check maybe again on the match of UTRGV versus Webster.
Yes.
Of Cardoso against Bruzon, because a lot of trades have happened here actually. Okay. So because now there's another isolated pawn all of a sudden. Okay, so um, we saw bishop d7 and knight e5. Okay, and now actually he tried it on d5, which I think is a bit of a strange choice.
Probably he just thought it in general, even if you trade, then in this kind of structure, who has the more development, then it's just gonna be
Yeah,
better, and he's the one that is for sure. Like his pieces are just more active.
yeah. Now I think, okay, I don't know, there's not so much anymore. At least he's putting some pressure on a
But
d5 pawn.
why? I mean, if you instead of rook takes e5, d takes e5, how is black holding the d5 pawn?
That's a very good question. Okay, let's say bishop e6, and then you wanted to play rook d1.
Mm-hmm. Rook
Okay,
d1.
I think like probably the best attempt is to play queen d6, and to at least say, okay, you know, if I get the d5 pawn, at least I'll try to get the b2 pawn.
Queen f3.
Queen f3, and I don't know.
Because
A5
I think
is maybe like it's a bit. I don't know if it's too slow, but at least okay. I thought okay, if I'm threatening a4, why not?
let's say I'm taking on d5. Bishop takes,
Okay,
rook takes,
takes.
queen takes.
And I'll take on b2. I mean, for me, it's not clear if like f7 will be like a huge weakness, but also e5 could be very weak. Like I think
But how are you going to attack it? You cannot attack it.
I don't know, but I'm not
Like,
super
I'm
scared.
just-
Also, a3 is hanging.
Okay,
so
let's say I'm playing a4.
you play a4. I don't know. Maybe if I just play bishop f8.
Aren't
'Cause I
you
don't want to get
scared of
mated.
the f7 pawn?
Like you mean something like rook d7 or
Or even,
like
let's
rook
say
d7?
we
Or-
trade
okay,
bishops.
d7. Okay.
If we trade bishops,
Okay, rook takes
then
f8 and
I
don't
also
know,
have
I'm
rook
not
b5.
so scared. Okay, but I have queen d2, so at least I will not lose this pawn, and my queen might be able to go just back to d7. Yeah, I don't want
To
to lose
me,
pawn.
it looks just very good for white.
I don't know. I think it's not something I would like to play actually, because also a4 is quite weak. So I think like you, I'm not sure if it will ever be
Seriously?
possible for you to take b7, and then I should also be able to get
I
a4.
think white cannot lose in this position. You're just pushing. Also, okay, I played rook b5, which probably is not the best move, but just in general, you have to stay with the rook there, otherwise.
Yeah, but it's just I'm saying I don't know. I think a4 might be weak, and I don't know. I think at least this is better than what black had before.
Yeah, that's true.
But okay, this did not happen because he took with the rook on e5, and now at least okay actually has some pressure on the d5 pawn. Okay, so that's board 2. And now here knight g5 did not happen in this game. Actually, nothing happened in this game, right? I mean, I think the last time we checked was 20 minutes ago for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so
It's possible it's
nothing
blocked,
has
but
happened
it
in this
was,
game,
yeah.
so like we're staying with the same conclusion. And what about Francesco?
Yeah, but
Okay,
he played.
we just saw this. Yeah, you said like we said like night before. You said bishop f1. That's what happened. And yeah, now probably black is searching for
Yeah.
the best plan how to continue. Okay, so that's also not super interesting for us. So maybe we can check the women's section again because we just checked Mizzou before that.
Let's
Okay.
check Miley
Okay.
versus Anna.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Okay, so the last thing that we saw was
She
she
played
played queen b1.
Mm.
I have a lot of respect for that. Even though if the game is not gonna go her way, the fact that she calculated like all of the stuff and played queen b1, that's very admirable. Okay, queen a5. So Anna did not play c4. Or she just wanted to start. No, but she did not. Okay, because after queen a5, now actually b4 is possible.
I think
And you
compared
don't
to
have c4
what
anymore.
we were analyzing before, this is clearly a better version for white because someone asked in the chat actually about the move before, and
In
so
the
we saw
different
the
position,
line.
yeah.
Yeah, but this is probably the best
Do you
version
think
you
she
can have.
missed before after queen a5 check?
It's impossible that she missed before.
I don't know. Sometimes this stuff can happen, and also because at least like c4 here, it's so concrete. I feel like it's way more her style also to play c4, especially all the moves that we've seen g5, rook c8, and so on.
But maybe
So-
she just thought it was fine. Like actually, the
Okay,
way
so
that the
queen
game
a5,
went.
b4 takes, queen b6. I mean, it also does not
Uh-huh.
look too bad for black. Takes, rook takes e5. Wow.
Yeah,
At
maybe
least
that's why she went
white
for
managed
this.
to castle. I think this is already a huge achievement.
But okay, we should check, of course, d takes e5. We should say why
rook takes
d
e5,
takes e5
yeah.
doesn't.
After d takes e5, there's queen takes e3. And now I'm not sure if they were calculating all of this, but at least this looks super scary. And either way, yeah.
Maybe you also have some perpetual check.
Yeah.
Or just.
You definitely have perpetual at least, because after king g1, okay, if I want to, I can repeat with queen e3. And of course, then the crazy move here is to just take on e5 and to play with a rook down.
But then you should, at some point, you have to go for
You have
the
at least
checks.
3 pawns. There's still like the threat of queen d4. So if you wanted to, you'd still have a perpetual. But I think at least you can actually try here to push. You might be able to try to push, and you still have like. I also think it's good to have perpetual as a backup.
I think she has to go for the perpetual. I mean, the rook is just too much. If you give white a couple moves, no?
Yeah, maybe for example, like something like queen d1 could be a bit annoying, and then you have to figure out how to still make the perpetual
Yeah.
work actually. And if you don't, then you're rook down. So that's very true.
We didn't say that, but okay, king g1 is of course the best move, but there is also king e1 that
But
loses.
then it's a bit strange, or not, that she annoyingly like went for this line where she has to go for perpetual.
Maybe she thought she could actually push.
I mean, it's very much her style, like this, all this attacking stuff. But I don't know. Okay. Anyways, Miley did not take on e5. She castled, which is like very ambitious, of course.
But here again,
There was again like d
d
takes
takes
e5,
e5.
which now, of course, is a bit more interesting. And at least now black is not the rook down, but just the exchange. But yeah, then here after queen b3, I don't know. It's, I think, very hard to evaluate this position.
I would take white just because I like material.
Yeah, you like material. That's true.
But in general,
don't know.
compared to what, like actually the position with the rook down was easier to play than this for black, I think.
Yeah, I
Because
think
there
also it's
black had some
complicated.
activity. Here it's maybe you can play rook c2 and try to create some play on the against
Yeah, at
g2
least g2
and
is
bishop
super weak.
e4.
Okay, but she did not go for this. She went for bishop takes e4. I don't
Which
know.
is
I actually
yeah.
think like it's, yeah, I don't know. It's like the easiest like trade to make, and of course you're happy to trade a bit here with white, especially if you want to play against these pawns. But I don't know. It's also,
But the other one was on a trade.
yeah, that's
The
true.
other
No,
one
I
she
mean, I
was just
speaking
gaining
of,
material,
yeah,
so that's-
other moves. But now I don't know,
I think probably she calculated that
because this is very unclear. To be honest, now I would be scared of white again because e3 is just falling.
I think she went for rook f5, so probably she calculated everything till here, and then she thought, "Oh, I just have a safer king because I'm taking on g5, and I can understand.
I think it's very hard to evaluate this position and to understand what's going on.
For
Because
sure.
rook takes e3, rook takes g5. Okay, you're forced to go to f8, so white cannot pick up this pawn with a check.
Rook takes d5, and
Yeah, I don't know.
the material is still equal. I think maybe she saw this and she thought I'm gonna play queen h7 next,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna mate.
it's very hard to understand because of course you cannot ever allow black to take this d4 pawn, because then I think it looks more scary for white maybe. But I think, yeah, rook takes d5 has to be played, and then this will be very interesting.
Yeah,
I think this game could go either way.
I agree. Okay, now she played king f8, but it was the only move, so it's not really a surprise.
I
But
think, yeah, like rook takes d5 will be the move that we're going to see next.
yeah, otherwise d4 is.
And then it will be interesting to see Anna's plan in this position. Also, the clock is not really working for us because it shows 40 minutes for Anna and 0 for Miley, so
Yeah.
we don't really know how it's going, like time-wise. But
I don't think it's possible. Also, okay, now we have the first results in the women's section because Lu won. Actually, the game we were talking about before, Diana Patel won versus Lauren Tovius.
yeah, but okay, I think we saw already at some point the position where she was
Yeah.
gonna lose all her pieces, so I don't think we have to check how this continued.
We can check Sila's game.
Yes.
Because
yes, we
I
can.
think today we still, like in this round, we still didn't check
Yeah, we
that.
didn't check.
It might be interesting.
That looks like it's almost made. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. Okay, so we also have some London stuff, and G4, it's kind of in the style of Fabio.
It's, I mean, it's also Joe Baba.
It's everything, yeah. But yeah, G4 here is very strange. Like, I mean, if you,
It's very ambitious.
I mean, it's either usually it should be like prep, or I don't know. G4 is very ambitious, but I don't know. I think it might be the most played move.
Today?
Like, it's the move of the day. Do you agree? I mean, there was so much G4 and G5.
And G5. H4. This morning there was H4 in like
Yeah,
these
nice
4
for
games.
actually, yeah. But at least it's entertaining for us and for the viewers, hopefully. So that's
Yeah, I think here it's very risky to play G4. We like this morning we said that usually when someone is going to attack on the sides, then you want to react at the center. And here Black just did it with Bishop takes C5.
Yeah, Bishop takes C5 is very logical. Knight D7, but I don't know. Why didn't she take on E5 and then Knight
And then
D7?
Knight D7. Yeah, I also
Because
don't know.
after F4, I mean, the huge drawback is that there is now Queen H4 check. So, I don't know. Where is this king going to C2?
Yeah.
It can, but now I think everything is going to open up because, to be honest, I mean, Black is the one attacking here, not White anymore. So if I just play F6, I don't know, it just looks like the whole center is going to open up and those pawns will be super weak. Because also with the queen on H4, which might feel like it's like kind of out of place, but actually I think the queen is super strong here. And attacking the G4 pawn, if White ever takes on F6, I might also be able to play E5 next, G4 will be hanging.
In general, White was just not ready to play G4
Yeah.
with the knight still on B1 and the king on E1. It was a little bit too much.
Yes, so
It's still interesting.
It's very creative. But yeah, I also don't think it's ready for this. Okay, so knight D7, bishop D6, very logical, rook E8, queen C2. So White did not want to take this pawn. Why? Because maybe she was scared of E5 or something. Again, but it's like similar case of like, okay, if your position is already bad, maybe like just take the material. Because after
That's
E5
true.
at least, okay, I can maybe just move the bishop or something. and
Probably
try to put
she
pressure
just started after queen c2, h6, or just defending the h7 pawn is the move, and she didn't think about taking on d4 or c4. Probably she did, like, because now, okay, Sila played c4, and probably she thought that she could take on h7, so that's why she played queen c2, because it's the only reasonable explanation. But then after, okay, let's say bishop takes h7, king h8, the bishop is
Where is
just
the bishop
trapped.
going?
Yeah. I think probably she wanted to go for it, and then she realized
Yeah,
it wasn't
I mean,
possible.
that makes a lot of sense, like if you wanted to take this pawn, but yeah, in this case. Okay, so then after c4, if you're forced to go back, of course, it's very unfortunate, and now, okay, the position is just, like very bad.
Yeah.
We'll be going on a short break to recharge our microphones, and then we'll be with you right afterwards.
Okay, we are back, and we have a guest. So everyone already knows you, probably. Someone was asking for which university are you playing for. So, of course, this is Aryan Tari from University of Missouri.
Yeah, it sounds like nobody knows me if they ask which university I'm playing for.
No, I think everyone knows you, but they don't know you're attending a university.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm attending University of Missouri, so we're the hosts this weekend. So honored to play on the home court.
But it's your first time playing the President's Cup.
Yeah, it's the first time I've played Pan Am's 2 times, and the first time we didn't qualify. So this time was much better.
Yeah. This morning we didn't finish your game, but it was a nice victory. So I guess you're happy about that.
Yeah, it was a weird game. Like I thought in the end that it was going to be a draw, but I always had some pressure, and with the time trouble, he
Yeah.
eventually collapsed.
Okay, what about your game today in the afternoon?
It was actually a pretty solid game. Luckily, I kind of it was randomly. I checked this line right before the game for like 10 seconds, and we got exactly this. I just repeated some old notes because I had this try from the white side. So yeah, this came from a Berlin, like very solid opening for black. So d3. This is all like known theory. Like white gives up the bishop pair, but gets black gets these double pawns. So yeah, black has many ways to play, but bishop d6 is this is kind of known to be a very sort of like analyzed, so deeply analyzed line. H6, bishop h4. I mean, all these moves might look very strange. That black plays g5, but these are all Engine's best moves. So, I mean, black has different ways they can play. I can also play knight d7. It's generally a pretty solid position, like queen e7 is possible.
Till when did you know that?
Yeah, so g5, bishop e6, I had this in my notes, like from 5 years back. But it's interesting because I looked at this from the white side back in 2023. So I had this try with white, queen d2. So basically the point here is that it looks like white can take the pawn, but if you do so, then after h5, black gets very good play here. h4 is coming, and the knight on e5 is unstable. So black has a good game here, and if you take with the bishop, black trades, goes queen d4, hits both e5 and b2. So I'll take on b2, and actually black is slightly better.
We were analyzing that.
Yeah, so queen d2 is actually the best move here because white doesn't have anything else really. I mean, if you develop the knight here, black has a pretty good game. Like I'll play f6 and the bishop on g3 is very oddly placed. It's just out of the game. So queen d2, this is all very concrete. Like white now is threatening to take on e5. Once the knight moves to d7 to protect, he goes d4. F6, I'm protecting the center. Here, I was actually worried about queen a5. It's supposed to be more critical than queen c3, which was what my opponent played. And I remember I looked at this for like 5 hours back in 2023. And we concluded with my friend that this was like a interesting try for white. And I hadn't really looked at it since then, so I wasn't really sure about the details. Bishop c4. Actually, our coach once blundered with rook d1. Bishop e2. Black has a good,
Yes.
good game. But this was a random blitz game online. So white goes rook e1, queen e7. White actually plays h3, has to stop bishop b4. And now the question is, where does black put the king? You cannot castle long because of queen takes a7. So the best move is actually bishop a6 to castle long. And this is basically just a huge mess. And I knew black is supposed to be fine. But I guess I was slightly worried that my opponent would be deeply prepared here. So, but I was happy to see queen c3 because this move was played by Nakamura in the 2022 candidates in Madrid. Against, it was played by Rapport against Nakamura in the candidates 2022 in Madrid. But this is actually pretty solid for black, so I take queen e7. Now we get some trades. So the Rapport game against Nakamura was takes queen b3, knight c5, takes. And here it looks like white has a better structure, so they should be a bit better. But at the same time, black doesn't have any weaknesses. I'll go h5, h4, and that's also what happened in the Rapport Nakamura game, and black made a comfortable draw. So my opponent was, I guess I knew it a bit better than my opponent because he started thinking around here. Went for knight d2, which I knew was not the best move. Like white is supposed to take and go queen b3. After knight d2, castle, I just felt very comfortable. I knew I'm at least fine, so.
Yeah, we were very confident about your position here.
Yeah, I was confident too. I kind of made natural moves here. Rook e8, bishop queen e5. I mean, there's many ways black can play. I can also play like h5, h4, queen e5, knight g3. So here was a critical moment because I wanted to go h5, which looks very natural. You want to go h4 and disturb the knight. But my worry was knight takes e6, trade, rook e6, knight h5. And here I got worried when I saw rook e4, rook d7, and takes. But it turns out that after rook c4, actually black is the only one who can press here. c3 is falling, and I have an active king, so I should definitely have gone h5 here.
Yeah. I mean, I think Isik said something like this in his analysis, because then when he finished the game, he also came and was talking about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, I guess bishop f7 was also
Yeah,
a very good move.
I guess I played it a bit too safe here. Like this was maybe a good try to play for a win. Bishop f7, f3. Here I played h5. Here bishop g6. Actually, here I was very optimistic. I thought I'm slightly better because I don't know, all my pieces are so active. I'm ready to go h4.
We were also considering, instead of bishop g6, just queen b5.
Queen b5, yeah. Yeah, I briefly saw this move actually, but I wasn't sure what my queen is doing on b6. It's possible, I guess, but I think for a human, the queen functions better on e5. I don't know. I guess I thought like at some point maybe white goes b4 and the queen is a bit offside on b6.
Yeah, it makes sense. I just wanted to mate with the queens on the board.
Yeah. Maybe, I mean, this is more ambitious. Yeah, here... I mean, white kind of pulls the emergency brake here with trading the queens. Yeah, b3. Now, here I was very optimistic after bishop g6. I thought I'm like getting h4, f5, and if the position opens up, my bishop is ready to enjoy himself. But basically after f5, it's white is also very solid. Like maybe I should actually have taken with the rook here.
Also, okay, what about f4 then? Because we were analyzing that.
Where?
Rook takes.
Here
because
f4?
no, you said you should have taken on d8, no, with the rook. Didn't you say that?
So you mean?
Okay, after
here, rook d8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought about rook d8, but I thought he could just take and go. Yeah, actually, I wasn't sure about this. I was calculating this for a long time, actually, rook d2. But I was afraid to blunder something.
Someone said, Aryan, very solid so far, but we're new that. Also, they asked, what are you studying?
I'm studying psychology. Like I think it's written in the.
In the website.
On the papers that I'm business administration, but it's not the case actually. Rook d8. I should have played it. It seems like he has to go f4. I mean, I didn't consider this at all. You know what I was worried about here after rook d8? I didn't like that he could go knight c3.
Mm-hmm.
fe4, rook e1. This was why I rejected the rook d8. I thought he takes back on e4, and the knight is kind of strong there. f4. This I didn't think I should do, but it turns out I can just push now, and these pawns are blocking the white pawns.
Yeah, it seems a little bit weird to play f4.
Yeah, maybe this was a good chance here, rook e5, h4, because now it's a bit different. Like if he tries to get the knight to e3, I'm ready to strike with f5, and the knight on e2 is hanging. Because in the game, f5 was not as strong, and now we just saw a lot of trades. So in the final position, it looks like maybe white can push with a h-pawn. I did expect my opponent to play a bit on here with c4. But at the same time, like I'm pretty active. I thought I can maybe go a5, a4. I should always have resources to be fine here. Like I'm gonna get my own counterplay on the queen side. So
Yeah.
in general, I think it was a pretty solid game. Like I equalized comfortably.
Okay.
Yeah, I was more worried about queen a5 in the opening. Yeah.
Before letting you go, what do you think about Mahel's game and also Luka's?
Yeah,
if
let's
you
have a
saw
look.
it
I mean,
before.
the last time I saw Mahel's game, it seemed like he was pushing a bit. And now actually looking pretty nice for Mahel. Like a few moves ago, it looked like only black can play for a win. Like here, I mean c5, c4, or I mean here's g5. I mean black can never be worse.
Mhm.
But he started to drift. Yeah, c4 was a strange move, just creating himself a weakness.
I think we stopped around move 32 probably, and
Mhm.
then Mahel played h4 that we didn't see.
Basically, Mahel's opponent has played this endgame very inaccurately. It was like black being on the good side, and now, I mean, if I have to bet, I would definitely think that Mahel is winning here. I mean, opponent has 10 minutes, and he's probably sitting there thinking how he got into so much trouble from an innocent position.
I think we said that if the white pawn was reaching h5, then it was very, very good. So we were surprised now that black didn't play h5.
Exactly, yeah. Black should have played h5. Yeah, it should just be a draw. Obviously, like now suddenly the black king is in a box and not coming out. So
We are using a lot of these words.
um,
Yeah. What about Luka? Because this is probably the hardest game and more complicated.
yeah, let's see. I mean, the play is for two results here. Like black has this isolated pawn, which is often a bit weak. But at the same time, Luka has 20 minutes more on the clock. It's pretty balanced, but yeah, I cannot really imagine Luka playing for a win here. But I think it should end in a draw, most probably. But he has to play some precise move because it's definitely more pleasant to play for white.
Yeah, I think we agree on that, but still, okay, if Luka makes a draw, and then we can just hope for Mahel. We try to be unbiased, but of course, it's not that easy. You know that, studying psychology.
Yeah, not as far as you, but yeah, hard to not be biased. So go Mizzou.
Yeah, okay, thank you for being with us,
Oh,
and good
thank
luck
you.
for tomorrow.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, now our official commentator, Annmarie, is coming back. It's actually, I think it's nice to see the way that they feel the game differently. Of course, when you're playing, it's much harder than commentating is so easy because then we're not stressed. We can just see everything.
Yes, very entertaining and high level commentary by Aryan
yeah.
Tari.
No, that's true. Actually, he was, of course, very well prepared, and I mean, we didn't
Yes,
know the
but
line.
we already thought that, yeah. But it's interesting also what we were saying that, like, yeah, again, from a human point of view, it was
Yeah.
very difficult to put the queen on b5 or b6 just because
Yeah.
a4 and b4 are coming, and then, I don't know, yeah, it's not easy to understand what to do with your queen. So since we just checked Mizzou, maybe we can go back to UTRGV versus Webster.
Oh,
Okay, so some trades have happened in the game of Brunson versus Cardoso, and I don't know. Like now, I don't know. Like black is the one to be more active, actually, kind of.
how did this happen? Because that, I don't know why it was so active before. I think, okay, we saw at some point he still didn't trade the rook. Yeah, rook
Yeah.
takes e5, and
We
I
saw
think
rook takes e5, and then bishop f8 was quite logical. I think we saw that. Then the straight happened, and
you also mentioned bishop f8, I think.
yes, I think so too. So now g3, okay, it still looks very human, but okay, here, I mean, it just seems like pretty balanced, to be honest. I mean, like not much should be happening anymore.
Maybe he thought that with the d pawn it was enough. Just.
But usually it's very tricky always to understand this because this pawn can all of a sudden get super strong, or it can just also be a weakness. It's not really clear. Okay, so we're
Rook-
trying to push this pawn.
Rook f1 is very solid.
Were you trying to think of a nice word for passive?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's deep, I would say. Because now, okay, of course, the f2 pawn is still not attacked.
I mean, I can get the point of rook f1. You know, you
Yeah.
just want to like be prophylactic and also so to prepare taking on b7 next. So I get rook f1. I think, to be honest, it's something I would play.
Yeah.
I would be too scared to allow something there. So rook f1 makes a lot of sense. I mean, b6 seems very logical for black as the next move. And then I don't know, but I think now I would prefer black, to be honest, just because if this rook is kind of like stuck with protecting the f2 pawn, and d6 is not really going anywhere. Okay, maybe I can start with d6, but then there's just rook d2.
I agree.
Okay, maybe after rook d1, queen d4, we will just have this queen endgame.
But also the point is just, as you said, the black's rook is just more active, so it's easier to play, and the
Yeah,
d pawn is not going anywhere.
Just easier to have the active pieces, of course. Okay, so let's move on to board 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so now this knight maybe went to g5 and then actually traded on e6, which is what we were talking about some long
Maybe
time
2
ago.
hours ago.
2 hours ago.
It was like 2 hours ago.
Okay, so what happened? We saw bishop e3.
So yeah,
Queen
knight
c7.
g5.
Oh, that
h6.
actually happened. Okay, because we said that like this didn't happen, but it was just because white was thinking for
Yes.
such a long time. So it did actually happen. Okay, and h6 we were saying c5, I believe, and to get some immediate counterplay. But he chose h6, bishop f5. We were saying this, and queen g4 makes a lot of sense. Also, maybe to prepare some h4, h5 for the future, and h6 is hanging. So yeah, queen g4 is a
It
very
looks
logical move.
extremely good for white.
h2, yeah, to be honest, yeah, this is just a very good position. And now some attempt like c5, I just think it might be too late for that. Because I still have this motive of like playing e6.
Yeah, we saw it before.
And I
Knight
don't know.
f8 maybe as before.
Also having the king on h2, I believe it's just a better version. Because I don't have like all of these problems, you know, of like c takes d4, I have to move the bishop. And yeah, to be honest, if you have to play move like knight f8, I mean, okay, I can take on f7, I can play bishop f4 every move. Seems quite decent.
Yeah, it was the best version that white could have. Actually.
Yeah, I think like h6 was like an inaccuracy in that moment. So yeah, this is looking good.
Francesco is
Santiago
not
here.
doing very well.
Okay, so actually knight e4 happened at some point since we have the pawn here on e4, which we were talking about as well.
Yeah, he played bishop f1, which is also something that we were.
Bishop f1, knight e4,
considering.
that's exactly what we were talking about. And now he did not go for a takes b5.
He made my mistake. He even asked me with or without taking on b5. And first I said b takes c4, but
Yeah.
actually.
I mean, I
maybe-
think this trick here was just a very nice way to save the position, which, yeah, I think kind of was the only way to like simplify here. And now without this, it's just very hard because, I mean, you can just like make a lot of like even like random moves kind of black and you'll still be fine. Knight d3, rook c3.
Yeah, maybe here it's not easy to understand where to go with the bishop.
Yeah, this is exactly the problem because the position might be like equal, but still like to actually find accurate moves here is very hard.
What is bishop b8? It can be actually
Bishop b8 in which position?
instead of bishop g3.
Instead of bishop b8 is a funny
It's-
move. You want
yeah,
to go to
that's-
a7?
And then
Or
maybe.
I think actually that's not the worst idea. I don't know. It seems very interesting.
No, okay, the point is just seeing that after the game, he went back to before. But also after that, black seemed to be very active. At least when the knight goes to b4, maybe I can do like some bishop a7, bishop c5. It's crazy, but okay, it's maybe not a normal move.
Bishop b8, yeah. It's like, I think, not the most like typical move to think of. But yeah, might be interesting. Okay, bishop g3, I think, yeah, it's like also very logical. And now, yeah, exactly, this is the problem. I think also because this knight now can come to d5, which is what we were saying. Also, the bishop can come to d5, and then also maybe there are some threats of knight a2. And I will just want to work on this promotion,
Yeah.
like putting c3 in next, and it seems a bit uncomfortable.
Maybe
White.
white can still hold. I mean, it's not the end, but it looks very uncomfortable and hard to. Also, the rook, of course, is not the best blocker for the pass pawn, and we know that.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of in those situations I always feel like I would prefer to even have a pawn there. Like this rook is kind of like worse than a pawn. I don't know because it's like
Yeah.
you're not supposed to have such a good piece there. So yeah, that's a bit
Okay,
unfortunate.
team-wise, the first board they made a draw, and I think actually both Francesco and Quesada are a little bit in trouble. Okay, maybe not in trouble, but just
So
they
now
are
it's
not
looking
trying.
good for UTRGV actually.
Yeah, it is looking good for UTRGV, which means okay, it depends of course on the result between Slu and Mizzou.
Yeah.
And tomorrow the last round is gonna be a fight, and everything is gonna depend on that. So anyway,
Yes. Maybe let's check Luka's game because I think a lot of trades have happened here.
yes.
Okay, so the last moment we saw a lot more pieces here. I don't know. I think you were checking with Aryan somewhere around here.
Yeah, we were
94?
checking just briefly.
I mean, okay. A lot was traded, which of course is like a bit advantageous for the side that does not have the isolated pawn, because of course it's just easier to pick up this pawn at the end. But still, I think like yeah, Luka is not doing too badly here, and also I mean, I think like at least he usually like likes to play end games.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think anything can happen here, but still he's a lot up on the clock, which I think can also be like a deciding factor.
Yeah, this is exactly what Aryan
kind of
was saying,
position.
so that's why probably like he can still hold. This is a I think Luka is almost never in time trouble, which is
That's true. Yeah.
very important. Yeah, after all the trades, I would be uncomfortable to play this with black because still a6 and d5.
Yeah,
or
let's say I just put the queen on d4, for example. I mean, it's very tough to like do something here with black. But also, I mean, at least the d5 is not too weak for the moment. I think
Yeah.
the a6 is a bit like the bigger problem. So I don't know. Yeah, maybe some move like queen c6 is logical to just defend, like, and at the same time attack c5.
then you can still play queen d4 as you said, like queen
Yeah.
c6, queen d4, and
c6, queen d4.
a5. At least
I mean, I think
you're trying
a5
to.
It's like very logical move to just get in, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, of course, it's easier to play with white, but we'll see how the game is gonna develop. So maybe let's check Mahel's endgame
Yeah.
for a moment. What was
And then
happening
we
here.
can go to the
Then
women's
we can,
section.
yeah, again, check the women's section. Okay, that's actually a huge improvement. Like I saw when you were talking to Aryan, then that's like actually what you were mentioning earlier. Like if you get an h5, this is super for like
Yeah.
white, because I mean, if the king is never going to be able to enter those squares, then I mean, what is black's plan, to be honest? And I'm
Black
very
is
surprised that this
crumbed.
happened. I
just-
mean,
yeah.
to not play h5 of black is I don't understand. But okay, we cannot
Maybe he
look
thought just
into the
here
player's
white
mind.
is not
Winning, but
yeah.
still it seems super passive just how to defend this. And again, I mean, I'm just
Okay, first of all,
collecting the pawn, because if you want to defend, like if you want to prevent white from taking with the king on c4, you would have to play rook b5, but then well, rook takes c4 is possible. So
Yeah, that's
okay,
true.
rook b1 just happened, and now white has a very interesting idea, basically to force the opponent game with rook b4, because well, if black is not gonna go for the rook endgame, and white will get rook b7 check and collect the a7 pawn.
But the problem is also it is very easy to understand that the pawn endgame is completely winning for white because after rook takes b4, c takes b4. I mean, we are just gaining the c4 pawn, and the nice thing is just all white's pawn are blocking black's
Yeah.
one. So like
So there's
just,
literally like no way for black to
Yes.
collect any of white's pawns. So I think like Mahel will definitely should play like rook b4 here. And okay, I think maybe the best try at least for black will still be like
Yeah.
to play rook d1 or
king
something.
takes c4.
King takes c4, and to maybe try to collect the e5 pawn. But yeah, I also think, or king c6 maybe in this position.
Yeah.
Like at least, I mean, there's always like chances in rook
But
endgames.
here, I don't think in this position is very hard, because if okay, this is insane. There are stalemate ideas, no?
That's true.
Like it's,
Oh my
it's
God,
insane. I
that's
just
true.
realized it.
That
And then,
after, like, let's say rook
Rook
b7, there's
b7.
rook d4, which
Yeah.
is really nice. I don't know, it reminds me of one of the games that Mahel played at the European Team Championship last year in Batumi,
that's true.
where he also, like, had a very nice stalemate. So, yeah. I don't know. I feel like this is really
Maybe
more
it
like
was against Francesco, actually.
it was against
It was against Francesco.
It was a very nice game, and
Yeah.
Mahel was the one with the stalemate trick.
Yeah. So White should also be a little bit careful, but of course Rook B4 is, it looks very good.
Like Rook B4 is like the try, and then okay, I mean, at least if you put the Rook on B8, then okay, there will be no stalemate. You can just not play Rook B7. And after Rook B8, okay, maybe you want to try to pick up this H5 pawn, but I think now, yeah, the chance is to try and get the E6 pawn. So, to be honest, it's not that easy. But we saw that we have a very strong player joining us in the studio if she would want to show her game.
If you want to, you can. I'm gonna leave you my place.
Okay.
Okay.
She
then
does
we can
not
go.
seem to want to show her game for the moment, but that's okay. Yeah, I don't
Okay,
know.
in general, he will probably. He also has a nice time advantage, if it's true. Today the clocks are a little bit weird, so I don't
But
really
yeah,
trust
30
what
minutes
just the
against
comments
1
say.
minute, that would be
Actually, they just
very
finished.
good.
I saw him walking, so they finished.
But if they finish, then okay, either it's stalemate
Okay, well,
or we
let's
won.
see. I don't know. It's yeah,
Let's,
it's either.
let's hope for the win and not stalemate.
Okay, we
we
can
have
wait
faith.
for Mahel to come. Meanwhile, we can just say also the results in the women's section.
Yes.
Sila won. She was also passing by.
Yeah, but we saw that like she was almost mating her opponent, I think, at
Yeah.
some point. So then we didn't really check up on that. So yeah, Slu is already leading with like 2-0. Maybe we can check what's happening in Talia's game.
Yeah, we didn't see the game that much. We just saw the opening, right? Just the Carlsbad and
We saw the Carlsbad and then we stopped. That's true. Yeah, I think we saw it up until this moment. Queen b6. Okay, so black seems to be doing like completely fine here. Actually, I would like really prefer black here.
yeah, I mean it's a good version of that.
It's a good version, but okay, then at least white gets some counterplay. Okay, now I actually like I prefer white again because now this f6 square is like very weak. So I would love to get knight in there.
Yeah, I think Talia is very good
yeah,
in
we
this
can
kind
just-
of positions in general.
You think she's positional?
Yeah.
I think she's way more dynamical. I don't know. It's like no.
You
actually,
told
I
me.
told you the exact opposite when we're
It's
talking about your prep. That's
Yes.
true. Okay.
Also,
I think, I don't know.
yeah.
Actually, yeah, she kind of crushed me positionally, and then I had to find some dynamics, which is very unlike me, because we played
yes.
online events.
But also, okay, in general, I think before I said that I lost versus her in a Blitz game at the American Cup Blitz, but also just positionally she crushed me.
Yes, but at least in the classical game, like you were kind of crushing positionally enough.
Yeah, I mean, it depends probably on the type of position, but I
Yeah.
would say for sure she's a very solid player. Considering also like our average of the women's player, I think she's one
yeah,
of the
she's
most
also very
solid.
strong. I mean, she regularly plays like American Cup, like
Okay,
and
Mahel is there,
the,
but we don't know what he
US Women's Championship.
Actually,
So
we would.
She's
yeah.
very strong. But yeah, now she seems to be doing very well.
Ah,
I mean,
Mahel won.
this push
Mahel
was good.
won.
He won?
But Luka
Oh,
is
very
still
nice.
playing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
okay,
we will
so
see how the game was.
also this match, yeah, like again of like the slow girls, like seems to be going very much in their favor. Also, like I think maybe we can check for a few seconds on Gabi. Okay, she's a bit worse, but okay, it's nothing like dramatic or something.
I am pretty
so.
sure. Oh no, that's not true. Okay, I saw the Gyaru board. No, actually, I did. I think I saw the girls going. I think they're done.
Okay, let's check what Mahel did. Of course,
Yes.
he played Rook B4, followed by Rook H1. Okay, so he didn't go for Rook D1 check. Okay, so this like a stalemate trick could have never happened.
Yeah.
even. I
But
think
it was
yeah,
nice.
it was a really nice try, I think. But also it makes a lot of sense, of course, to play Rook H1 to try to get this H5 pawn. Yeah, and now Mahel did not take on C4, but played like the even stronger move King C5. Actually, I'm a really big fan of this move just because, you know, it allows zero counterplay
Yes.
and just threatens Rook B7. But since we have the winning player with us, maybe he would like to talk a bit about his endgame and show off his skills.
I will. Okay, maybe you should switch.
I will move so you can actually show your game. Because this is the important laptop for the moves. Yeah, if you have time to show the whole game, but also you don't have to, you can just talk a bit about the end game, because there was a really nice stalemate trick, and we were wondering if you were calculating this.
Which trick?
After rook b4, if there's rook d1 check, so if you take on c4 and king c6, so a cool move would be rook b7. Yeah, you would love to play rook b7, but then there's actually rook d4.
What the fuck? Oh my god.
And it reminds us of your game, but to me, when you also had this like very nice stalemate.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I will play rook b7. I think. I don't understand rook b8. What is the threat of rook b8?
I don't know. I don't think it's just the idea to play rook d8 or something, but just to also not allow like this, just so that there's no stalemate.
Yeah. I guess I want to take the h6 pawn, and if rook h1, rook d8, and I take the e6 pawn. But yeah, already here I was very happy. Like, I can go to the game. I think I played terrible at the beginning.
Yeah, we were a big fan of your g3.
No,
And I
not
think
me.
Thea's considering making a file on this now.
But it was very bad, I think. Like, because b6 I didn't know. I was expecting.
But
knight
was he in prep?
Knight f6, take, and knight f3.
Mm-hmm.
And bishop g2 is also possible, but there is e5.
Yeah.
I was not sure between those two moves. And but b6 I played fast, so I think it was prep, yeah. And I didn't.
Yeah,
know
we were
what
very
to
surprised.
play.
Have you played this g3 before?
No, I just checked before because I thought he can play this. It makes sense for him to play this.
But it's very impressive that he was in prep for that.
But yeah, and here I don't know. I thought after maybe I should. What is computer say? Like I don't know how I'm supposed to play because I was not so happy about my position. I think he developed quite easily, and okay, it's still. And yeah, and here I played rook e1. I think very fast, which was quite a bluff because he can just take my pawn. And I didn't know what to do. I just was like.
I
okay,
mean, you made him believe that it's good, so that's
thought
I think
I
the most
can
important.
put a bishop here
Yeah,
to pin, but he can just protect, yeah, and still.
and he will unpin you.
Yeah. So. Okay, I have.
But
some
he believed you. I mean,
Yeah, he played
It's good.
castle. Oh, my idea was to play knight e5. But yeah, because I saw this during the game.
okay, someone just asked a question. Who are the commentators? Well, currently it's still me and Marie, and this is GM Mahel Boyer, a very strong French player of Mizzou.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is what I calculated, but I thought my white square are weak, so I didn't. I was not sure if I was better or not, but it seems yes. But okay, so the game actually was, I think, equal quite all the time.
Isik was very impressed when he joined us by your queen f3 idea. Maybe we can check this line, because he thought you played it with the idea to take, knight c5. Maybe you can show this line.
Yeah.
And you played king e2. And he was saying maybe there's bishop e3, with the idea after knight d3 to give this pawn with like rook one and now play king e4.
Yeah, but
And like g4. That was his idea.
yeah, I was thinking to that, but
I was thinking this is your style or not, to go for something like... It was very creative.
yeah, I thought about this, but I was not so sure. Now that I see from closer,
I mean, I think it's very hard to
it seems
evaluate,
good.
but it's definitely very interesting.
Yeah, I should maybe play that. I thought king e2. Actually, I liked king e2 because I thought I wanted to sacrifice a pawn with like this knight d3, rook d1, knight t5, and bishop f4. And I thought if he move, I take c7. He has
Yes.
to play f6. I can take, and it's at
Makes
least
sense.
equal. And but yeah, knight b3 was strong, so I should maybe play bishop e3. But okay, so here and here, like he was starting to think a lot.
Yeah, those errors were made by Aryan. He was saying that he was actually like thinking that only black will push here with c5, c4. That was his
Yeah, like
opinion.
I'm not sure. Yeah, c5, c4, my rook a2 is very stupid. Yeah, but I will manage to play bishop e3, and the knight is also a bit stupid. So it should be equal, but
It's equal stupidity.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, we can say that. Yes, like c5. I think I'm the one who actually.
I mean, at
push.
least with like the pawn on c4, at least you're attacking a7. So also he has to defend this somehow.
Exactly, and I will play rook a3 sometimes, and if c4, the pawn a7 is
Yeah.
weak. So I think like he should take. What he did was good. Everything, and yeah, here he played c4. And strangely, it's not so easy. That's why I put my pawn on a6, because I thought in all the endgames, even if it's equal, my pawn on a6 is close to promote, yeah? So
Yeah, I mean, if like this pawn was on a5, black's pawn was on a6, it would be very different. But just
Yeah,
the fact that
exactly.
this pawn is stuck on a7, it's super annoying.
like
for
I know
black.
that Alpha Zero do this a lot, and I was not sure in the game if it was good or not, but I thought, okay, if I want some long-term chances, I should do this.
Yeah.
But actually, I thought here it should be completely equal, but I'm quite surprised that it's slightly better.
Yeah, I think also like Aryan was saying that he like that this like c4 move by black was not so great because he just created like a weakness for himself.
Yeah, but for example, a natural move like rook d8, I was expecting also. I play c4,
Yeah.
bc, and rook c4, I thought. And the c5 pawn also is weak.
That's true.
But maybe my b3 pawn is also weak, so it should be equal, I guess. But I don't know. It's not so easy. It has to be precise. And I just see computer like to play this move. Maybe.
And then so you can move the rook to a5, maybe, yeah,
Yeah,
just to protect d2. That
probably.
makes sense. I don't know. At least here I
But
felt like you
c4
can
makes
try.
sense
Yeah.
also because you open his file for the rook. You want rook d3 and rook b3. So I'm quite forced to play this. And here g5 was strong. He attacked my
Yeah.
my 4 pawn, and you want to play king g7 and come with the king. So.
But that never happened.
Yeah, because here.
Yeah, here we were thinking like after g takes f4, g takes f4, like why he did not just go.
Rook h1.
No, just for rook b6. Like we were thinking rook b6
But
and then just for the king to come, and
but
then
h4,
h5,
yeah.
and then to try to just bring the king.
But yeah, I think transpose to the game actually.
But in the game, you had your pawn on h5.
Yeah, but he could play like he played that. He played rook b1. I played king c2. He played rook b6. I played h4. But he also.
Yeah, I mean, I think our question was just why black did never played h5.
Because I think he thought that I bring my king. Like
So,
this,
but then
this.
let's say king e4, you just can maybe just play a rook. I think our idea was to just wait with rook c6, rook b6, because you just don't have a useful move, right?
I thought I have rook a1.
And after rook
useful move.
b6? Like I just did not
King d4.
understand how to make
You
progress.
play.
But now I can come
Yeah,
with
what
the
do
king
you do?
also or not? Like king f5?
Yeah, but if you
I don't know. At least I thought like this
Like,
way
even
black
this,
doesn't have to
it's
wait in a passive
my
way.
c4 pawn is much stronger than the f7
That's
pawn,
true.
and I have a nice trick. If you go here, I can go here, because if you go here, I treat mate.
Very nice.
So he has to play f6,
Yes.
rook g7, and.
Okay, at least you can still try.
I
Okay.
can still try,
That's nice.
but I think I was really afraid of rook h1 actually. I thought this was a cleanup.
Yeah, I think also that's what like I believe Thea wanted to do. But then we're thinking, okay, at least you can try of king b3, king b4, or something.
Yeah, here I thought I have at least draw, but
Yeah.
so rook c7 was
Yes.
the move to attack the pawn. Rook a1, take, and 5. And here if I push, I calculate this during the game. It's not good for me because after this, I'm forced to take. This I understand it was draw. Because if he go with the king, I will change the queen and I will promote some pawn and some
Yeah.
perpetual. But if I don't take on f7 and do perpetual, I'm just getting mated and I
Yeah.
have no check.
That's
So I was not sure what to do. And computer say here rook d7 is very strong. But during the game, I didn't think about that. Because I don't want to give my a6 pawn. It's very strong. But I guess now I'm just going to take this one.
And then also you're quite
And,
fast actually with the king.
With my king and pawn, true looks very dangerous for him now.
But yeah, it's very
But I still
two-sided.
think it's like it. I was pretty sure it should be the best
Yeah.
because this. Yeah, h5. Yeah, again, You said that.
Yeah, h5 just like so he doesn't get stuck like with his
But
king
yeah,
like
it
in
will
the game.
transpose to
Yeah.
to the game after king d2. I just bring.
Okay.
But because f6, actually I should play h5. Yeah, I hesitate, but I thought, okay, he's not gonna play h5 now. He's gonna bring the king and h5. Yeah, and here I thought rook b5 is true, but it seems that I'm wrong. This, and here I thought, yeah. At the beginning, I calculate rook a8, and here he has only one way to draw, but it's not what I thought. Why not this? Ah, yeah, it's to check, and it's when I push, because I want to,
Okay, so he has to go king g7.
yeah, king g7 or, ah, yeah, that's why rook d5 is very strong, because I calculated the rook a5, this king g7, and here I push, and when you check first, if we do the same,
And now you don't have c5 because
I
it
don't have
gets
c5
taken as
because
check.
you take
Okay,
with check.
that's very nice idea.
So this
yeah.
I didn't, but I thought he should play.
It's impressive that you calculated all of this.
But I miscalculated because I thought this is draw, but it's not. Because with the king on e5, I don't have check, but I guess I can still push. Makes sense. No, but why? Ah, because when he bring his king, I checked.
Yeah, so faster.
Wow.
It's a very tricky endgame.
It was
actually.
complex, yeah, because he brings his king, and when
Yeah.
he brings his king, I was very happy because I thought maybe it's a draw, but it looks so hard for like I have a pawn on a6 that he cannot take.
Yeah, at least you're
my king
active.
is
Like
much more
there's zero
active,
risk. Yeah.
and and here, yeah, I was very happy about rook b4 because actually at the beginning I wanted to take the pawn, but like now I don't really threat nothing, and he can just attack my pawn, and
Yeah, it's still difficult to understand. I mean, you're pawn up, but still, if he gets h5,
and he can active the king and
very
everything.
unclear, yeah.
But rook b4 is very strong because now I bring the king, and okay, I thought he should check, but I
Yeah.
thought here I have very good chances to win. I miss that he can play this rook d4.
Yeah, it's a very nice trick.
But okay, I can still play this. Why it's... Whoa. And he brings the rook in extremis, yeah? Yeah. So that's what he should do, yeah. Because after, I think it was just... it seems to be clean. The king is mated, and... Yeah, check was precise, because he went here, but if you go here, it's quite funny. I would just play rook h7. I'm threatening mate, so he has to bring back the rook, and I just take, and
Yeah, now it's also
I
very
have no
passive.
pawn up, but I'm just gonna take this.
Yeah.
His king is still
The king on
mated,
b8
and
looks very sad.
yeah, the pawn on a6 is just too strong. Like I thought this, for example, I'm just gonna take, and still
Yep.
he cannot do nothing. So, and after, yeah, I think I just
Okay.
pull out.
Yeah, but thank you so much for your detailed analysis. And to be honest, yeah, the endgame was much more complex than we thought, like especially with all the lines that you've shown. And it was signaled to me that we should go on a break to charge our microphones. So
Okay,
we
sure.
have to be on a break. But yes, thank you for joining us.
With
and
pleasure.
Good
Thank you,
luck for
Annmarie.
tomorrow.
Thanks.
Okay, we are back and we have a very special guest. Okay, everyone knows you already, but Awonder is the strongest player in collegiate chess by far. So why are you that shocked from the game?
Oh. Well, our teammate is taking a draw up 4 pawns and soon to be a rook, so that's a little bit surprising. But, you know, it happens to the best of us, I guess. Yeah, we don't have to block checks, we can also move our king.
Mm-hmm.
That's the cool chess trick. They teach you that once you hit GM. And yeah, so this one not looking too good, unfortunately, for us. Okay, well, that's all right. And then, luckily, our board, yeah, we got pretty lucky here. Her opponent just blundered the house. Pretty fortunate. Oh, rook f3. Oh, very nice by Toshali. Yeah, I feel like Toshali is pretty underrated. Like, she's quite strong. Oh, well, she has a chance for repetition in this position. Let's hope she doesn't take it. All right, nice. Avoided. I mean, I would, most likely they avoid it, but you never know, I guess. And Naledi, yeah, actually I haven't gotten to talk much with Naledi. She just joined our team.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, it didn't look too good here, unfortunately. Oh, this, yeah, we lost the majority of our pieces.
I think the game is already over.
Yes,
And, yeah.
oh, it's finished. Okay, and the other match, I guess, has also concluded. All right.
Okay, what about your team?
My team. I think we best not talk about that because we're losing some. Yeah, this game was honestly pretty one-sided. Yeah, bishop takes d5. Probably you can resign there. Bishop takes queen g6. That's pretty jover. And this one, I guess knight h6 is coming, and that also looks like a resignable position. So, yeah, not our best work, unfortunately.
But till some moment it looked fine, no? I mean, Francesco's game, we saw probably, yeah.
Yeah,
when
so
he
here
took
he
on
probably
c4.
should have taken this pawn and had a free advantage, but instead he allowed this, and basically, like, they always go bishop f5 here. In general, I mean,
Yeah.
after c4, but he went bishop f1, which is kind of bad. And I think his opponent played pretty well.
So, what do you think about living with Francesco?
Yeah, he's pretty good. We don't actually... Well, I kind of have, like, a lot of work sometimes, so I don't actually see him for, like, weeks at a time. That's mostly my fault instead of his. Yeah, he's a pretty chill guy. I don't really talk with him too much. But I feel like he's not super chatty, and I'm me, so, not a great combo.
I don't know what I am me means, but
Oh,
yes.
okay. You
Because I
know.
don't know you, but
Yeah. Well, what has he said about me?
not much.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, what do you think of your roommate?
Yeah, actually, my roommate and I talk a lot. Almost,
yeah?
every day. But when you come back home and then you just need to talk to someone, and then actually it's very nice because maybe for you it's different because you are American, but for us being here, it's not really easy.
Oh, how
Like-
so?
You need to have someone that shares the same experiences, and just it's a cultural shock. Like, so many things are weird. Also in a nice way, of course. It's good to be here, but at the same time, like, having another chess player that can understand the way you think. I mean, here we are surrounded by sorority girls, which is
sorority girls.
yeah.
I see. Wait, how old are you guys?
I wanted to say guess because I don't. No, it's
Oh,
fine.
no?
It's fine. Actually, if you're asking, it means you don't think I am old.
Wait, they just look like college age, right? That's not an offense. Anna,
No,
come
no,
on,
it's
that's
fine.
not-
It's theoretically you're not supposed to ask a girl
Okay,
how
let me-
old she is, but you. But
I
now,
know that, but
no,
I'm
no, no.
just
But now you're forced to guess.
Well, I know you're like a first year, like a freshman undergrad, right?
Hmm.
But I feel like 18 sounds pretty young. I was just gonna open up your FIDE page.
No, no,
but,
no, no. You can also because then everyone can see my rating, so you cannot do it.
Oh.
Claire already has a degree.
Yeah, I
Oh, she
have-
already has a degree.
Mhm.
Oh, probably like 23 then, I guess, right?
Sorry, that's,
that's you, okay.
solid guess. No, unfortunately, I'm much older than that, but still fine.
Okay. Wait, I thought you played really well in St. Louis Masters.
Thank
so your
you.
rating is
Yeah.
on the ups.
At some point, I just lost many games. Can you please move a little bit closer to the mic
Oh,
so
the
people
mic.
can
Oh.
hear you more? Thank you.
That's okay. We're commenting to an audience of 3. Yeah, the camera doesn't show it, but
No, but people at home are very happy
Oh, I see.
that you're
Right,
here.
right. Oh, yeah, but they can't see the audience, right? It's not-
No.
Yeah.
We
The
really
audience of 3.
appreciated your interview after the American Cup when you were talking about food.
Oh.
It was really fun.
Your main goal was to improve so that you could start picking out the snacks, and I thought it was very nice.
Yeah, so what they...
Inspiration.
Thank you, yeah. What they didn't actually tell you is that after that day, the salmon never came back. So they were like, this guy this guy sucks. And it never came back. So yeah.
Okay,
Unlucky.
let's check also our teammate Luca's game.
Yes, let's see. Yeah, so this match might be over. So
Because,
rip to
yeah.
us, we suck. Okay, this one, Luka, I guess, is surviving, although
Yeah, now he's not
never
getting mated
really know.
anymore.
I saw someone... Okay. Well, he'll try some bishop g6 action, and then I guess it's kind of okay. He has this nice trick, knight b4,
Mm-hmm.
and trading off all the pieces. Well, you know, average Gothic L. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. Wait, did Gothic win the last game? Oh, he did. My bad. He beat our guy. Oh, tough. Well, you know, unlucky. Yes.
But maybe we can go back till when like he played knight g6. So what do you think he should have played instead of that?
Yeah, so reading the top engine line, it appears he should have played... It looks to be... He should have played knight e6 and knight dc5.
Mm-hmm.
With what idea, I'm not actually sure. You know, I'm not really paid to play chess. I kind of just read the top engine line, and it says... Yeah, I guess white is slowly winning with some h4, h5. And you'd think that what he did is kind of the same thing, but he sort of lets black's queen get back, which I think in this other line with knight dc5, black's queen is sort of cut out a bit. But it's also not clear if there's like checkmate after check and queen f2. But I guess queen f7 is kind of mate. Okay.
Yeah, there are no checks.
Right, so yeah, I guess this knight g6 ended up being pretty bad. But that's okay. Okay, so yeah, now we're... Yeah, actually, Luka might win this game.
Okay, win. Isn't it a little bit too much?
No, not at all, because when you're playing Victor Goss... No, just kidding.
You're live. Everyone is listening, but yeah. Okay, not everyone. Just 39 people will know that probably.
No, it's okay. Yeah, when you're
Yeah.
playing Webster, everyone is strong, so... unlucky for us. Yeah, this one I think is pretty tough for... No, I'm just kidding. They're both very strong players. I keep forgetting if this guy's from Slovenia or Slovakia.
I think it's Slovakia. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I keep telling him, like, how Slovenia, and apparently it's really insulting.
Yeah, it's probably.
Because, yeah, he doesn't like it when they get confused. Yeah, I think this one's probably... Okay, knight b4 was found, as expected, and yeah, this one will probably end in a draw. So that means, I guess Mizzou is probably going to win the tournament.
Don't jinx it, but but yes.
I don't even know who the nearest competitors are. We probably have less than, like, 2 points, and Mizzou seems to have, like, 8.5 or something. If my math is correct, which it is not.
But
So
I
Mizzou
think
has 6 points, and SLU has 4 points, and Webster has... Okay, too few points to mention, and UTRGV has surprisingly less than Webster, which is pretty impressive, actually. No, more than Webster. Wait, no. More than us. Yes, that's true. Okay, so yeah, we have a chance to fight for 3rd place, I guess.
and tomorrow you're playing versus us, so
That is true.
it's gonna
A
be.
free dub, as they say, for Mizzou. No, that's not true. Okay, it looks like he doesn't really know what he's doing. But, yeah, he'll probably get it done. Okay, and in other news...
We might be very lucky actually with this game because I think before White had. Yeah. It's to be good.
Okay, yeah, it looks like we have a few games remaining, and all of them are pretty clear.
Yeah, in the women's section, I think Gabi. We can look at Gabi's game because now she
Her
just
opponent
won.
just
Yeah.
resigned. Yeah, this one. Okay, looked like Gabi was in some trouble before her opponent hung every piece on the board.
You're not very
And
diplomatic.
No, I'm just kidding. I'll be a good commentator. Yeah, no, I think Black got a bit confused. Typical plans here are H5, H4, since I read the engine line. Yeah, I think the SLU women's team is winning, right?
Yeah, I
They're
think
very, very
so
strong.
far, yeah, they're
One,
winning
two,
all the
three.
games.
Yeah, no, they have a very strong women's team. And getting even stronger next year.
Yeah. Okay, Luka
after year.
just finished, and he made a draw, which means that actually Mizzou won the match.
Oh, nice. All right, yes.
I said
Congratulations
Mizzou won
to
the match.
Mizzou. And
Why? Luka made a draw. Why is it?
Yeah.
I still know how to
Oh,
count.
hello to the Mizzou friends over there.
Yeah.
Okay, they did not say hello back.
Are you mad
It's
because they
okay.
didn't say hello?
Understandable. Hellos. Oh, they said hello back, Luka. Friendly guy.
Yeah. Maybe you're the most entertaining player of the competition.
Luka?
No, I was talking about you.
Oh, me.
Luka is the most. Which word did I use? Pragmatic, also.
Pragmatic. Oh.
Consistent. Yesterday or 2 days ago, I said consistent.
All right, what's the Mizzou team vibe? Let's get a read on everyone here.
I mean, it's fun just because we are very different and we spend a lot of time together. So, of course, it's not that easy.
So what is Grigory like? I've never seen him smile before.
No, actually, he is.
Sorry, just keep it around.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he heard or not. No, I didn't, like, before coming here, I didn't make research about anyone. So then I was surprised because usually, like, when you think about the stereotype of the Russian chess player, you don't think about him. And he is the chill one, so.
Oh, he's the chill one. Who's
Yeah,
the
but-
unchill one?
I cannot say that, but you know, like, just in general, he's just a very good coach.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I know. No, he always seems so serious. I'm like,
is-
bro, your team is crushing everyone. Like, you know, it's time to crack the beers. Wait, was Knight G7? Oh, Knight G7 doesn't work. Yeah. But I guess his job's not finished, right? He's locking in. Just a quick audience update. Our audience has dropped to 1 person. Oh, 2, potentially.
No, now we have many people. Actually, like, everyone is impressed by your social skills.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And
Okay,
chess skills.
chess skills, we already know.
Okay, we can answer some questions from the chat.
Actually, Thea has the chat.
Yeah,
Oh,
if
you have
you
the
want to
chat.
have the chat, but there are not so many questions. So if someone wants to ask something to
too good.
Awonder,
Respect that guy. He must be unemployed.
no, but this
Thanks,
is not
guys.
you. I don't think they were talking about you.
What the?
I think it was someone else. I think actually they were referring to Mahel probably and not to you, but I'm not sure. But it was from
Okay.
before, and I don't know.
Thanks for telling me that. That's
Yeah.
I'll choose to believe that version.
But do you want to be a chess player? Because then
Oh, you're
we're
telling me. Well, you're asking me.
yeah.
Do you want to be a chess player?
I cannot be a chess player with my rating, so
Oh.
I don't have many choices. You have.
I
so.
see. But are you a chess player right now or not really? Hey, you are on scholarship, right?
Yeah, how do you define being a chess player?
I feel like if you play tournaments, then you're a chess player.
Then I'm a chess player. A bad one, but I'm a chess player. I mean, and now I'm focusing on school also because I'm graduating next year, so I should just decide what to do with my life again.
Oh, okay. Oh, let's see what your major is. We have this nice and friendly brochure here.
Yeah. We are
Oh,
on
the
back,
commentators.
yes.
Oh, nice.
I don't think my major is there, but you can guess again.
Guess again.
Yes.
Okay, the age or the major?
It's true, you still don't know.
Okay.
You can
I
guess
think the
both.
rest of our team is leaving.
Yeah.
So I might have to go, unfortunately.
Thank you for staying with us. It was really fun to have you here.
Yes, it's been a pleasure.
And
watching
good
these
luck for
brilliant
tomorrow.
games. We were kind of 4-0 with the company.
Okay, our commentator Annmarie is back also. There are not so many games left. As we said, with Awonder, Luka made a draw, which was actually very good for our team.
Yes.
And a bit lucky, we can say, to be honest.
It was, but also, to be honest, he was just like lost for one moment, and even that was not so clear. But yes, very entertaining commentary by Awonder.
Yes.
And I mean, yeah, he is very entertaining. And
That's
the
true.
chess.
Also, you should teach me more of the slang that he's using.
yeah, he's
I
using a
think
lot
you
of
should
slang.
just teach me American young people slang.
I like that you don't even care about the chess, just about the slang.
Also, okay, chess, but chess is okay. Anyway, let's get back to be. We should be more serious, but in general, I think there is just one game
Okay.
that is going on.
So Francesco, got mated here sadly in knight versus knight bishop.
Yeah.
I don't think we have to show that, but it's also like rare to see that. So it's like actually like nice, to see it like over the board once in a while.
That's true. I don't know with how much time I will be able to do it, but maybe I will not think about that. I will just be okay. Of
I
course,
think you can do it in 1 minute for sure.
the W. I know the maneuver.
Yes, the W is the only thing to know.
Yeah, it's very
Just mean
important
the W of the knight to
know that.
yes.
Okay, the last game in the women's section. So actually,
so
I wonder
everything
was
for
checking.
the guys
Yeah.
is done, so we can check. Okay. Women's section.
Yeah.
So only one more game. Okay.
It's probably over by
Yeah,
now,
it's kind of
considering the
over, like
delay.
being 2 pawns down. Also.
And then, of course, Black was trying just to trade.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen those endgames also turning in a different way. But I'm very confident that I don't remember if I played versus her in the online event.
But didn't we discuss that in the morning?
That if we play it?
Yeah. Or you mean against Toshali?
No, against Oshari.
I don't know. I might have also played against
I
her.
think
I don't
played
remember.
against her, and it was a very bad game by me. I was and now
Maybe
I
I played
remember
against
the
her in the
game. I
first
think I was completely lost, and then I was lucky.
I want to believe that we played in the first round and I won, but I don't want to make up any stories, so it might also just not
No,
be
I
true.
think it's the game where I played some, I don't know, bishop f5, like a nice move, but I was completely lost.
Ah,
just
that game.
Yeah,
Ah,
I think it's that
And when I
game.
thought like bishop f5 was
Yeah,
very
it was
nice
not-
resource, but yeah, it was
That
like
was
very
just,
lost.
yeah,
But
that
then,
was such a bad game. for me.
and then you won the piece in a funny way.
Yeah. I
remember.
think so, to be honest.
That was cool.
But yeah, now she's just winning the end game, so we can
So what does
see.
it mean for the team? So
I think
like UTRGV was leading 2-1.
so now with her victory actually is
It
gonna
will
be 2-2.
Okay.
Yeah, as Awonder was saying, Zlu is leading the women's section
Yes.
because today they won
They are
again
very strong
3-0. Also, I think they are very balanced as a team.
That is true. I mean, SLU over the years they've always had a very decent team.
Yeah, that's very true.
Next year, with 2 more players, we can try to beat them.
We will see.
I said try.
Yeah, also, okay, for spectators, we said this morning, but in real life, we're also just players.
Yes, this is not real life.
No, this is, but now also it's a more chill environment, and being commentators, of course, it is very different, and probably now they are knowing us just as commentators and not players.
Actually, we're kind of serious chess players, even if we pretend that we're not, or we used to be.
Yes. I mean, I hope I'm gonna play the Olympiad this
Yes.
summer, so
Yes, we're both eligible
That's
to
probably-
play for the national teams of our countries, which is Italy for you and Belgium for me.
yes. Which means we are actually a little bit professionals.
Yes.
Just casually being students at Mizzou and then. Okay, anyway.
It's funny, that we're like, I feel like I'm like kind of retired as a chess player, but still I could play the chess Olympiad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard to make the switch kind of from like going to classes and then playing such a serious tournament against people who are just doing chess. So I think it's
I agree
so
with
easy.
that. Sometimes when people don't see a huge improvement, but then they don't think that there is a difference. It's just if you're studying chess the whole time or you're going to the university, even if you don't care about your grades, but still you need to go and then you're kind of wasting your time.
last semester, Thea and I were taking the same statistics class. So playing the European Team Championship, we were simultaneously trying to pass our class and take like online tests, which at least for me did not go too well.
I mean, it was crazy because then we had to do it right after the last round. So
Yes.
I finished, and then I just also my head was hurting so much.
It was very difficult.
Yeah. Okay. So now she's still winning the endgame and Queen H5,
Yeah,
King
I don't
F6.
think
This
so
is
much should be happening
the last game. Couldn't imagine balancing school with chess. Respect. Thank you so much, actually, because it is true. I mean,
That's why we have the Respect Hall here at Mizzou.
actually, the chess room it is
It's located at Respect Hall.
Yeah,
Coach is a big believer like of respect.
Also, what's the
important.
quote that we have in the wall of
Oh
the
my
chess
God,
room?
I
We have
don't
a
know.
quote.
It's very inspirational.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's like by a former president.
Yeah, we should take a picture of that and we should read it. But respect is a very important thing for our team.
Yes,
Not just for our team, but yeah, in general.
in general.
But also, it is nice to see that even though it's collegiate chess, there are so many strong players.
Yeah, I mean, as I've said like earlier in the morning, it's basically like people like especially Gabi and Talia, who I used to play against at the European and World Youth like so many years ago, like let's say 8 years ago, I don't know. And it's kind of funny to end up at the same place at the end. Or I mean, also us. I mean, we've played against each other. I think in 2018
I think
at
so.
Mitropa Cup for the first time, and it was hosted in Italy. Germany won. Not
I bet
thanks to
you
me,
won
maybe.
because the food was amazing.
Yes. There was also a lot of free wine.
I think Awonder is influencing me. So now I cannot talk about chess anymore. But it was one of the best Mitropa Cups, I think, so far.
I think it was the only one that I played because I played a hybrid one. And actually there I did very well, except for my game against Sedina. It traumatized me. I cannot play against her.
I don't remember that game, but
I
lost.
don't know. I was like up like everything. Okay, not material wise, but just crushing. I was up 1 hour. Of course, I played Black Lion because I had to deviate a bit from my normal Philidor stuff. But
Because we have to
yeah.
say that you're an expert in the Philidor.
I am. I'm not sure if that's a good thing.
Why?
but,
No, it's very
I
good.
mean, for me, it's a very interesting opening. I mean, Thea is the Sveshnikov expert. I'm a Philidor expert. So yeah.
We both did chessable courses. Mine is on the Sveshnikov, hers is on the
Yes.
Philidor.
Yes.
Okay, anyway, like going back to the end game after Queen H5, I think pretty much every move wins. Let's say
Yes.
Queen E3 check, maybe, and then King F1, King D1. But then you can just push the pawn. Like there are no checks. There is
mean-
no perpetual.
Yes. Maybe I could find a way to get into perpetual like myself.
Actually,
like-
once it was H and G and just queens. And of course, it's completely lost, but there are some draw
yeah.
positions.
Yeah. I know.
And I managed to make the draw. I
It's very
only had to,
strong.
but you know, I think it's just my opponent didn't know really what to do. I think okay, they are done with the game.
But that
maybe
doesn't
it's-
mean that we're done.
No,
We're only done if Chess.com says that we're done.
this is very true. For chess.com, Francesco is still playing,
Yes,
but
we're
as
the-
we
we're the
know,
slaves of
Francesco is
chess.com.
already having dinner. So, yeah, okay. Actually, now the mate is happening on the board. Also for chess.com, Gazik's game versus Luka is still going
Really?
on.
Oh, wow. Then we're really behind a lot.
Yeah,
so that
as
means we will have to wait a bit for dinner.
We said this multiple times, but there is a 15 minutes delay because of fair
Suppose
play
at
reasons.
15 minutes.
Supposed to be.
Maybe
But I feel
20.
like when you're playing, you don't realize how much the delay is or how long the
Yeah.
games are. Because when you're playing like time, it's called the state of flow. Now, this is my psychology version. I'm pretending to be a psychologist. But it is true.
Maybe tomorrow we should get up on the back here and let him continue guess your major.
Yeah.
We'll skip the age.
And
but,
my age and my major. If he guessed, then it's very good.
but he already said that he thought that you're 23 or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is already done. But like your major, I think.
Okay, it's not that hard.
Which major would you not want to be? Like what would offend you?
offend
potentially.
me?
Yes.
Okay, nothing is really offensive, of course. Just there are some things I could never see myself doing, which okay, of course, like chemistry. But it's not offensive because if you think I can be able to be a chemistry major, that's actually it
I
would be
think
very
it's a
good.
compliment.
I'm not.
But you're not
unfortunately, I
doing
hate-
too badly at chemistry this semester.
I'm not doing too bad.
So maybe you should consider. Maybe you can do a certificate.
Also, I look extremely funny with goggles.
It's Thea's favorite word, goggles.
Yeah, because it's a word that I didn't know and I recently learned because I'm forced to wear goggles in this lab. Also, okay, anyway, I will just keep repeating that. But yeah, in general, if he guessed, maybe philosophy.
Philosophy.
Philosophy,
You
yeah.
don't think that's a respectable major?
My dad actually is teaching that.
So let's hope your dad is not watching this.
No,
But it's
probably.
already very late in Europe.
Chemistry
so
be a
it would
vibe, but I cannot be. Also, my sister is doing chemistry, so that's why.
Yes, she has PhD. So it's in your
Yeah.
blood, actually.
The PhD.
Chemistry.
Chemistry. No, I think chemistry is not in my blood. Only sugar. And now we are starting to be a little bit tired, so that's why we are extremely focused on chess.
Yes. The last time I had caffeine was like already like 2 hours ago, so I feel like we're excused.
Also, they are just closing. There are no lights anymore.
Yes. Coach seems very happy, but he doesn't seem to want to say hi, which, okay, it's
no,
okay.
he wanted to say
He just-
goodbye, which is very
yes.
different.
Maybe he
Uh,
wants to go to dinner
Okay,
without us.
now Queen C8 check, but she can just play Queen D7, then there are no checks anymore, and okay, Queen G8, but she can just, I don't know,
I mean, I think her
Queen.
king will be fine.
yeah, King D5.
To be honest, it would be very funny if like there was some kind of perpetual.
I don't know if funny or not. I would probably cry a lot.
I think I would laugh. Like whenever I lose in a ridiculous way, I think I just laugh and then I can cry later.
Yeah. Okay, so probably she's gonna win this game. Tomorrow's round is gonna be at 10, but as usual, there is a 15 minutes delay.
Maybe you
so-
can announce the pairings if you could just check on chess results.
Of course.
So
Um,
the viewers know
yeah,
what to look
I
forward
will
for.
tell you. Okay, so in the
Draw? Okay, so we just heard the announcement that this game ended in a draw, which is, well, I don't know. Okay, it can happen. We said that.
yeah, we did worse than that. It's
Yeah, definitely.
I did.
Me too. I've lost. I once lost at European Youth like a game on time when I had mate in 6. It was super complicated position, but yeah.
So in the women's section tomorrow, Zlu is gonna play against UTD and UTRGV versus Webster. And
And for the guys,
for the guys, we already know that we are facing Webster, while Zlu is gonna play versus UTRGV.
okay. So
So-
now we see the last move, King E5. So actually, it's understandable what happened because now, actually, what are you going to do after Queen B8 check?
Yeah, that's
Because now maybe I can kind of trick you into perpetual.
that's probably why it ended in a draw. So.
Yeah. But those things happen also. I mean, like after so many hours of playing, yeah. Also, yeah, I think this is a good way to end our stream, especially since we already have the result. And then tomorrow, the last round is at 10 a.m. and we'll be live at
10:15
10:15. So, yeah, we'll see you guys then.
tomorrow.